Yeah, we're screwed. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 57 of the Showerpodcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and yeah, I think we're just screwed at this point. There's not much more that we can do. We just have to wait and hope for the best. Now, it's gonna be not emotional necessarily as an episode, but it's pretty reactive. It's, let's say, these kind of episodes will for sure be within, let's say, our possibilities. Because, yeah, every day is special, and today was even more special. Not for myself necessarily, but for what the internet and basically the whole world has witnessed. I don't really know even what adjective to use, if it's good that you did not see it or I'm just sorry that you saw it. But just in case you didn't, our lovely and amazing Mr. Trump on his official, I think it was TikTok where he posted it first, but I think he also published it in all the other official channels that he has made this lovely, it's just incredible video where he made this AI generated Trump Gaza thing with a song made by AI. I am absolutely speechless, because how do you even describe that? What are the events? You know, I saw so many videos that, use this caption, and I genuinely have to agree. What timeline are we even living on? Like, how does this stuff happen? And the challenging part, and what I truly believe it's gonna be an issue, it's the speed. It's the speed at which stuff happens. Because you look one moment to the left, when you look back, everything changed. If you scroll 3 times, it's like, my God, this is bad. Then you scroll again and you see another thing that he says. It's like, man, this is even worse. Then you go more. It's like, oh my God. And it's never ending. Now, I speak again from my perspective. And of course, this is something that, this is my honest reaction, because I, let's say, was a bit stuck to the imagery of, again, I've said already in other episodes, I'm not a huge fan of politics. I fortunately/unfortunately, deviated parts with it. I had a moment when I was kind of thinking into that career. Thank God that I didn't, and now I'm continuing on my own road with computer science. But I do have a lot of friends, and I do know a lot of people that live and breathe that world. And I am simply amazed now that it's something that it's hitting, again, very close to home. And it has reached, it has made me have a reaction, even though I am not, let's say, clearly affected by it. Because, I live in a country that has more or less nothing to do with it. So, but at the same time, it's absolutely crazy how, first of all, these kind of informations have arrived to me. And this tells a lot about the effectiveness and the kind of strength that such a character can have. Because, most of you are aware, and we are all more or less aware of all the bad things and all the serious topics that are happening around the world. There are several wars ongoing. There are a lot of very difficult and very important topics that should be a priority, not only for the people working to solve those problems, but also for the, let's say, general public. But how can there be space for such things that are complicated, complex, lengthy? They require context. And it's even hard for the people that already are in that world to even grasp and understand when you have this other kind of information. The president of the United States makes an AI-generated video with him and Elon Musk in it about Gaza. Meanwhile, he makes statements about the war in Russia, sympathizing for Putin. Like, of course, that will create such a huge wave that will demolish and absolutely wipe the floor with any kind of other, let's say, information and, news that one would even want to have, let's say, to get flowing, to the people. It's absolutely impossible because this is so wild and it's so insane that it feels unnatural. And again, the amazing thing is the speed at which this happened. Yesterday, nobody would have, of course, maybe I'm speaking from my cluelessness because again, I had no clue about what was coming and I'm not following actively, if not what I get from this, let's say, viral informations and viral videos. I am more than sure that if I was actually insightful and I was actually researching this kind of stuff, I would have had a better understanding and maybe, just maybe, I could have seen this coming. But at the same time, I genuinely have trouble not understanding the people that see this and they're like, this is good, or this is okay, or they laugh off of it. It's again, I'm speechless for the third time, I think, this episode, but it really challenges my perception where, in general, I have already a very low tolerance for these kind of scenarios where if I meet somebody that it's so completely off my view of the world and any kind of argument that I either make towards them or they make towards me, they are such polar opposites and let's say they are, first of all, not willing to understand my position, to understand that maybe theirs, it's based on absolute nothing and even lies, as again, it has happened in many statements that the guy made, saying stuff that's completely not true, completely. And you have people, bringing that forward as a flag, this is the truth. And again, how do you explain to somebody like that already has decided its position? How do you even convey any kind of information to those people? It's absolutely impossible. And yet, how do they spawn? How do we end up in this kind of situation? I don't know. But the thing that puts it, let's say, in the danger zone is that I am completely sure, and I've also seen let's say several reports that reported this. These kind of patterns, these kind of situations have already happened in the past. And they didn't lead to funny situations or to things that were forgotten in the next months. They had serious consequences. So I really believe that serious consequences are about to come. And the only thing that I truly hope is that the speed at which this stuff is happening and being reported and being created doesn't match the speed at which the normal life goes on to. There is always a big distinction that we should make between the speed and the definition that we can give to something online and the mirror of that exact thing in the real world. Because usually, even though they look exactly the same, they are fundamentally different. But who knows? Maybe this will change. I hope not, but maybe it will. All of this to say, we're gonna see a lot of things, and think for the first time in many years, I can say that I am not ready to what's coming, because anything could be a surprise. As it happened today, who knows what could be happening next? It's absolutely insane. And to close it off, the other, let's say, doubt that I have, besides the thing that I said before, is when, this happens, there is, let's say that he was let's make the example, that he wanted to make this video. Perfect. Isn't there a control, any kind of, let's say, I don't know, firewall between what he thinks and what he wants to do? Is there no security measures, no nothing? Let's just roll with it. Is everybody completely okay with that? It is mysterious to me. But again, it's mysterious because it completely, let's say, goes against the normal way that I see things, the patterns that I consider acceptable. And again, when you see something like that, you're like, it's so off and it's so strange and it's so wrong. And I have to use imaginary quotes, but it's so wrong because it is my perspective. Maybe there are a lot of perspectives in which that is right. But I will stand by the fact that I believe, and I generally believe, that there are objective truths. There are things that are objectively bad, and you can make the best argument in the world and you can, let's say, transform it as much as you want. But if something is bad, it will just stay bad. Having said that, this was episode 57 of the Shower Podcast. It was a very special episode, let's say so. But again, we have to experiment. Let me know what you also think. If you have any kind of, not feedback, but opinion around this, please let me know in the comments. And see you at the next one.